very much. We appreciate you coming here.
My pleasure, my pleasure.
I don't want to monopolize your time at all. You're here to speak with the students, but I just have one very basic question, and I'm sure that this is probably on the minds of a lot of our students.
Mm-hmm.
How difficult is it to act, produce, and direct a picture when you're in it so much? Do you find it difficult? Do you find it tasking? Is there a little bit of a Jekyll and Hyde? What's that process like?
You know, I think in terms of energy, the adrenaline is flowing so intensely that you really don't run out of energy, you know, because you're so creatively stimulated all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And in the case of the Lost City, I think it's helpful. First of all, I'm not the first guy to do it, and I think it's helpful if you prepare yourself, you know, in the storytelling, you know, in the preparation of the film,
Mm-hmm.
so you know what it is you're trying to accomplish, you know, and what responsibilities you have not only as a director and as a storyteller, but as an actor in the piece also.
Right.
In the case of the Lost City, it's really told through the eyes of the protagonist, which I played.
Mm-hmm.
So the personalization of that was very, I say, simpatico with the task at hand.
Right.
Like I said, I guess it's difficult. I was so blessed with the opportunity after 16 years of trying to get the movie made to get it done, that I remember telling my producing partner Frank Mancuso Jr. and also Joe Drago, who's here. Joe is associate producer in the film, the co-producer right there, Mr. Joe Drago, who's been we've been together since 1990. After like 16 years, so we got the script in 1990, and 16 years later, we finally got it financed at the tune of $9 million, and we shot it in 35 days. And it was like 4 or 6 week prep.
Wow.
And after all those years, we used to kid each other, and they say, well, it's going to be difficult to shoot, you know, a short period of time. There's a lot of material. We had a 3.5 hour assembly of the film. And I said, you know, I just want to have the problems to solve.
Right.
I don't want to be talking about potential problems. I want to actually have them.
Okay.
And that was basically it. You just kind of, you know, you go in and you tell the story. There's always compromises you make when you try to reduce something that your ideas were much grander than the budget allowed.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to adapt the compromise those ideas and reinvent.
Limitations,
yeah,
right.
and reinvent, but never abandoning the story.
Mm-hmm.
You know, always accomplishing the beats in the story that, for me, were important to tell. In the case of this movie, you can easily have, you know, finished the film when he gets on a plane and leaves Cuba. You know, how many movies have ended when you get on a plane and you leave somewhere? You know,
Right.
It's over. But the exile experience is an important part of the exile experience. You know,
Mm-hmm.
and I am a Cuban exile, and my parents and the generation that brought us here went through that, and it's an important part. The concept of the emotional longing and the nostalgia that one feels for the country that they love but they had to leave
Mm-hmm.
is an important part of the vernacular of the movie and the state of mind and the message in the film. You know,
Yeah.
The concept of impossible love, that you can be with her but you can love her but you can't be with her.
Right.
Hi, my name is Yasunur Roitia. I love the movie, by the way.
Thank you.
I'm in filmmaking masters, and I was wondering, you're from Cuba.
Yes.
So were you looking for a story like this about Cuba? Did you find it? What does this movie mean for you?
Well, it touches on the theme of impossible love. You know, the tragedy of exile is exile, and that's what all exiles feel all over. You know, all over. They've come to this country, in this case, America, and they're blessed that they're come to a country where we're free, and so forth. In some countries that exiles leave, they're not free, and there's different kinds of persecution, or either government persecution or economic persecution. I mean, there are different reasons why people come here. In the case of Cuba, you can't really go back. You know, you're really separated. You're really isolated from that. It's not like you can go back, visit a vacation, and come back. So it's really a complete departure. So that story growing up as an exile, the nostalgia that I felt for that country, that I still feel, was something that I wanted to express and tackle. And I always thought, because of the dynamics of what happened there in the 50s, that there was the elements for a very classical tale, which you can bring together family drama, historical uprising, revolution, political uproar, change, music, dance, that all this tapestry of elements could weave itself in a sort of like, Godfather, cabaret-esque kind of fusion, Casablanca, Godfather, cabaret. Those are kind of like, like the pitch. When I pitched the idea to Paramount, which is where I developed the script with Guillermo Cabrera Infante, the writer, that was sort of the pitch. It was saying it's like Casablanca with a family Godfather, woven into it, family dynamic in it, and obviously cabaret with the club, So that was the pitch, And luckily they gave me the additional money to develop, and they never made the movie, but they gave me the money to develop the screenplay.
Was it your idea to direct and act in it, or did you want
Initially,
it?
I just started developing it as a actor or producer, But the more I got into it, the more I realized that I wanted to direct it,
Thank you very much.
Where did you shoot most of it?
All of it was shot in the Dominican Republic,
Okay.
even New York.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Hi, Andy. How are you?
There's a moment in the movie where you see me come out of the subway, and that's not actually a subway. It's just a fake subway, which I mine my way up there. There's no actually stairs going down. It's just a set, So, but that's spoiled the illusion. My early mime training as an actor finally paid off.
Hello, my name is Juan Lecanda. I study acting. I'm from Mexico, and I want to ask you. I know you've played roles that are other than your nationality. So, how do you manage to get those jobs? Do you think that it has to do with the look, the accent, the talent, or a mixture of those three? Or what do you think about
I think
that?
all that comes into play. Obviously, we're all whatever our physical appearances will always influence a certain range of things you can play. I probably won't get called to play someone from Finland, or Sweden maybe, but maybe Black.
Well, with that beard, maybe.
So there is always limitations to that. That's always aside from the physical limitations. There really shouldn't be any. Because an accent is something you can put on or take off as an actor. And the talent is something you have to nurture. So
Okay.
it's you shouldn't be, as an actor, you want to develop your craft to the point where people are hiring you for what you can bring, the dynamics you can bring to a part into a movie that they want in that movie, and not be marginalizing yourself because you happen to be either Asian or African American or Hispanic or whatever.
Okay. Thank you very much. I really admire you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you much.
Good luck.
Hi, good evening. My name's Francesca Tilly, and I'm doing MFA filmmaking. I just want to say again, it's a really awesome movie, and it's something that resonates very deeply within me as well, as also somebody in the diaspora. And some films that I deal with work with exactly those feelings that you were talking about. So I just wanted to say that you said you've been holding on to this film for a long time. How do you manage to step out of the situation that goes on in Cuba and look at it objectively in order to sort of make it into a film dealing with all of these different emotions? How are you able to step outside of yourself?
It's looking back. Well, I don't step outside of myself because the experiences I've experienced as an exile and the love I have for that country and for its music and all that is part of inherently what I'm trying to transfer into the film. It's the same love that Fico, the character, has for his culture, and that's why he's designed around. He's a keeper of the culture. He has this fiefdom, which he protects the culture, and it's about art. It's not about gambling, and so those are all themes that are personal to me. The political side of it is historical. At least this is what happened, and you were using historical political beats to weave that affect directly the microcosm of this one Cuban family. and how the revolution tears families apart, and different brothers take different sides, and the loss of life, and the loss of love, and the loss of family, you know. And those themes are, I've grown up with those themes. I've seen that happen in whether it's my family or friends' families, and it's part of the tragedy of exile, you know.
Yeah. And was it a purposeful thing as well to have the relationship with the girl mirror the sort of lack of love with the country?
No,
like
it's
you
not a
can't
lack of love. It's
not a lack of love, but just
it's an impossible
a woman
love.
that yeah.
She is a metaphor for Cuba.
Sure, yeah.
She is, you know, beautiful and engaging and fetching, and you want to love her, you want to be with her, but she gets seduced by the world she gets seduced by, and you can't, you know.
Yeah, I think that was great.
You have to be part of that, and if you're not willing to be part of that, then you can't be with her.
I wasn't sure about with all the themes you're dealing with the romantic idea in the film, but in the end I got it. So I think it was really intelligently and beautifully done.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, he says in the movie, I don't have a loyalty to a lost cause, but I do have a loyalty to a lost city, and that's my cause and my curse, and that's basically it, you know.
Hello,
Yes.
my name is Miguel. I'm a writer. My question is, there are actors who believe that their best role is yet to come. Would that be your case?
Well, I certainly hope so. You know? I certainly hope so. You know, it's always flattering when someone responds to your work, or when they say, "That's the best role you've ever done," and then it kind of is, you say thank you, but you say, "God, doesn't mean everything I've ever done before that." But yeah, you're always trying to challenge yourself. You know, I believe in my heart that I'm a better actor today than I was, you know, when I was younger. You know, I know that in my heart. You know, sometimes the you know, the actor can, you know, his work, his raw material in a movie can get misinterpreted by an editor or by a director. So you never really sometimes get the best of what an actor gives, depending on what they choose, or they sometimes manipulate the performance. So, but I feel that I'm a better actor today than I was yesterday.
Thank you. I have a friend who's Spanish speaking, and I will translate his question for you.
Sure.
He asks, you work with writers such as Cabrera Infante, which is a widely known screenwriter. Will you consider the idea of working with an unknown but yet talented screenwriter?
Well, Cabrera Infante has only written one other movie. He was a novelist mostly. I mean, this was rare for him to come and write a screenplay. And his first draft was 340 pages long. So he basically wrote a novel in screenplay form, and not really structured like a screenplay, structured really more like a novel. And I had to work with that and you know, try to preserve as much of it as I could, and you know, preserve things, and you know, kind of incorporate characters into characters and do. But he gave me a Bible to work with, and it was a great experience. In terms of working with young writers, you know, if I find a piece of material or somehow I'm stimulated by it, then I'm stimulated by it. I don't have any prejudice about age or you know, experience. I think people can be great writers at any age, you know. But it's only so much time in the day that one has, you know. And for me, I have my own projects, things that I've written, things that I'm kind of focus on that I would like to do, and I kind of focus on that, because if I focus on everything that's around of other people, then I just don't have time to climb the hills that I'm trying to climb, you know.
Yeah, he's my friend.
Yes.
He's a screenwriter.
Yeah. My name is Raúl Rodríguez. I'm from Cuba.
¿Qué tal, Raúl? ¿Cómo estás?
Bien, gracias a usted.
Muy bien, gracias.
Soy admirador suyo. Bueno. Well, I arrived USA a year ago. For this reason, my English is not good.
It's okay.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Well, my question is that are you opening to work with screenwriter who is Cuban screenwriter who que no tiene nombre, es el que no es conocido?
Yo contesté la pregunta en el sentido que le dije que siempre yo, si la materia prima de alguien me motiva, me estimula, pues me estimula, ¿no? La edad o la inexperiencia,
Okay.
eso no tiene que ver con nada. Pero como tengo mis propios proyectos, que estoy luchando con ellos, que yo escribí cosas personales mías, que a veces uno no cabe el tiempo para dedicarse a otras cosas, ¿me explico?
Sí,
Porque
sí.
entonces le roba tiempo a las cosas de uno, a las batallas de uno mismo que me quiero expresar, ¿me explico?
Okay, okay.
Pero no tengo prejuicio en términos de edad o de experiencia en absoluto con un escritor.
Ajá. ¿Y sería capaz de leer algo de alguien que no lee?
Soy capaz, no leo muchas cosas porque, como te digo, si no estuviera leyendo todos los días algo, ¿me explico?
Sí, claro.
Pero sí soy capaz de leer. Si la idea me estimula, si tú me dices una idea y me estimula, pues sí. Pero si no me estimula inmediatamente, la verdad que me quita, si no tengo un interés inicial para algo que veo que es un bombillo, no quiere decir que la idea sea mala, sino que a mí no me estimula, no soy la persona para eso, ¿me explico?
Okay.
What I was saying, he's asking if I would, read a piece of material, and I said, you could tell me an idea in 2 seconds. If I'm stimulated by it, I might go, oh, that sounds interesting. Wow, I might be interested in reading that. But just as well, I could say, might be a great script. I have no interest in it. The basic idea might not spark something in me, and that's just the way I am. I react to things very instinctually, and like I said, I have my own things that I'm involved with, and it's hard to focus on 17 other things or other people's work because I have enough trouble, getting my own work done.
Okay, muchas gracias. De nada.
I do have another quick question, and I'm sure some other students may have this question. When can we see you playing The Godfather? When is 4 coming out, and when do we get to see you?
I don't know. I don't think it'll ever come out.
Really?
That's a question more for Francis Coppola and
Because the
Paramount.
baton was sort of passed to you in the part 3.
Yeah. But, Francis would have to want to do it. I don't think that movie can get made without him.
Right.
And so he has to want to do it. He's never expressed really. One time he had a little bit he almost came off the dime, and we started exploring it, and then Mario Puzo died, and it kind of just fizzled out. So it really is up to Francis and Paramount. I mean, I certainly would be interested in doing it, but it's not. It's Francis is making his own smaller personal movies. He's running a vineyard. He's living his life, and I don't know if really he's never really. I think he's been very clear that he doesn't want to deal with the whole mafia thing anymore.
Right.
So now this is amazing. He might wake up tomorrow and go, you know what? I just thought of an idea and have an itching for it. So, if he calls, I'm there. That's all I can say.
And you would be the first call.
Depending on the story, he might go back. And
okay.
I might even end the story. I don't know. But the point being that it really has to come from. He has to be involved for it to really have the value.
Right.
He's the author.
Right.
Hello.
Or his daughter.
Yes.
He's got to be in the family. Yes.
Hello, Mr. Garcia.
Hi.
It's an honor to be able to ask you a question.
Oh, thank you, man.
My name's Keith Thompson. I'm an MFA filmmaker here at the Academy. I wanted to know if you could possibly elaborate beyond what you said earlier as to, wearing different hats on the set, particularly when you're acting, directing, producing, all these things you have to be cognizant of beyond just what an actor would normally be aware of. Is there a certain technique that you use, or what is your basic approach to that type of gigantic responsibility?
Well, preparation. You got to prepare all those. You have to know the story you're telling as a director, and what you're searching for, and the objectives of each scene, and all the design aspects that lead up to the actual photography of a film, and all those things you have to be, prepare and have to be comfortable that you have. It's like leading an army. People are looking for you for answers. They need decisions. You can't be, I don't know, I'll let you know tomorrow. You got to tell them, no, a lighter blue, darker blue. No, we're going left, not right. Follow me. They're there to collaborate, but they need someone to lead the troops, for better or worse. So you have to be comfortable in that and know the story you're telling, because they want to tell that story with you. It's not only on the page, but you have to lead them through and you got to make your day. You got to drive the reality of the production day, especially when you're doing an independent film that you have limited time and monies to do it. You got to meet your day to tell your story, or you might not be able to get back to tell it. And as far as an actor, it's the same thing. You got to prepare. You got to know the guy. You got to know why you're there and all the objectives of every scene and how you feel about the story, what the stakes are and the character are, and then live it. You know, it's a blessing to be able to do it. You know, so getting the opportunity. So you put yourself in the situation, and with great actors, it's very important to hire the best actors possible because your performance really comes off of them. So you surround yourself with the best actors possible. And you put yourself in the scenario, and you see what happens. You know, you see it moment to moment what happens. You know, and if there's certain dynamics or certain things you feel like need to be accomplished, objectives in the scene, you just make sure that they're accomplished. Doesn't matter how they're accomplished, as long as they're accomplished, because then the story, you know, rolls over to the next beat. You know.
Very good, thank you. But beyond that, like when you merge the two, isn't that a lot more cumbersome to deal with? And is there any special way you do that?
It's absolutely more work, but like I said, you're very energized, you know. You go over here, you set up the shot, you look at the composition, you're happy with the way it's lit, and then you step on the other side, you run your fingers through your hair, you put on your coat, and you step up and you play. And then when you know in your heart that you got the scene, you go back and you say to the focus guy, "We good?" He goes, "Yeah." He goes, "Okay, let me see take 3. Oh, that's nice. Okay, moving on." And that's it, you know.
Well,
you know in your heart when it's happening, when it's not happening, you keep shooting, you know.
Well, after seeing your work, all I could say to that is genius.
Oh, no. You know, there's Francis once said, he says that there's a very thin line between boyish enthusiasm and megalomania. So it's all about the desire to do something, you know, and when you have a desire to do something, then you commit to preparing yourself to do it, and you commit to the journey of actually trying to achieve it. Like I said, that movie took me 16 years. Nobody wanted to make it. Eventually, the movie God shined upon me, and I found a patron, you know. But I have another movie I'm doing now. I'm almost 3 years into it, you know. I still don't have all the money, and I have Anthony Hopkins and Annette Bening, and it's, you know, still don't have all the money. So it's not an easy task for anyone, you know, and unless Warner Brothers steps up and says we want to do it, you're on your own out there, and you got to figure out, call your dentist, call your dry cleaner, and see if they'll give you some money. I'm not going to tell you, you know, it's not easy. It's not an easy task to make movies independently.
Thank you very much.
Hi there, my name is Adam Shirley. I'm in the acting program. And my question is actually about where you're just talking about your movie that you've been working on for 3 years. I think it was Hemingway and Mutants. It says that you wrote it, you're planning to direct it, you're acting with Acton Hopkins, and you're producing.
Yes.
And my question is, when coming across this project, as a screenwriter as well as an actor, have you ever come across a point where, as an actor, you think, wait, this doesn't make sense, and you have to go back and revise it? And with that complication,
well, you can't go back to revise it once you've shot it.
Well, I meant on set.
You're done. You on the set?
Yes, on
set.
set.
Well, if it's not working on the day, you got to fix it. You got to fix it. You know, if the scene is not coming together while you're doing it, it's not coming together. You got to figure out why it's not coming together. You know, if you know, and believe me, if a scene is not really well written or there's some doubts in it, I'm sure Mr. Hopkins will let me know. And he'll say, you know what are you trying to say here? What's this? And do we need all this? Can't I just do this? And you go, yeah, that's fine. You can do that. Like I said, there's objective to scenes, you know. And how you achieve that objective, you know, it's like a starfish. You can come at it from you can throw the dialogue out and improvise the whole scene as long as you achieve the objective of that scene or what it's about to roll the story over. But if the scene is well written, you don't need to do anything to it. You just play it. You know, it's going to be there. The actors will bring, and then you play, and you let me if they want to improvise. I'm very loose about that stuff. You know, the important thing is to get the right actors. That's for a director. 99% of your work is in your casting. You get great actors, they're going to come with a million ideas, and they're going to know more about the character than you do. And they're going to be ready to blow once they get on stage. And you just got to give them the space to be free and to express themselves. You know, that's it.
Thank you.
Just because it says director doesn't mean you have to do anything. You know, sometimes it's best not to do anything, you know. What you're directing is the storytelling, but you got to give your actors room to play and to contribute, you know.
Hello, Mr. Garcia. I'm Gleb Kiselov from BFA Filmmaking, and I wanted to ask, you started to speak about the relationship between you and your cinematographer, your crew, and my question is, what is the relationship between you and cinematographer when you're directing and acting at the same time?
In the case of this film, and he's also going to shoot my Hemingway picture, Manuel Kadosh is really artistic individual from Israel that I met in a movie we did on called Modigliani, on the life of the painter. Thank you. And he shot that film, different style obviously, but I was very impressed by his work, his speed, and the naturalness in which he worked, and we really hit it off. We became very good friends, and artistically, twins in a way. We had a lot of similar feelings about photography and how to approach it, and so when I got a chance to do Lost City, I brought him with me. He was getting married, so ironically, he says, "I can do it, Andy, but getting married, I can't tell my wife I'm going to do movie." So I said, "No problem." And I said, "When will you free?" He goes, "I can be there by May 22nd, but you start a week after. It's too short, no? Do you think?" And I said, "No, I'll have everything ready. All the locations will be picked out. You come in, we'll do a tech scout, and we'll go." And he goes, "Okay, good, freestyle. I like it." And that's basically the way we worked. I mean, when we were doing Modigliani with Mick Davis, the director, and myself, and Manu, we'd kind of talk about the scene right before shooting it and go, "What do you think?" And then we turned to Manu and I said, "Manu, what do you think? Freestyle?" He goes, "Yes, of course, freestyle." So we work a lot that way. We're very organic, I'll give you an example. The scene in where I say goodbye to my parents at the house.
Yes.
It's 2 takes. 2 setups, 2 takes.
Awesome.
The first take is a design take where the camera dollies off of behind a wall and reveals the setting.
Uh-huh.
And I come in from the background into the setting, and it plays as a fixed master on the relationship between the 3 of us. We did that one time. We did it. It was a very emotional moment. It was very raw, and I said, "That's it," because what I didn't want to do with that scene is turn it into a scene, like "Oh, now we're going to cut to you, and you're going to be crying, and wait, let's go again. He's not crying yet." All that manipulation was just completely false. So we did the scene. It was very charged with. I thought the master was very true, uncomfortable, and I never told the actors or Tomas Miliano plays my father, or Millie, what to do. He said, "I want to be here." He says, "I want to be." You sitting in the rocking chair? He goes, "Yes," but he says, "I have something I want to tell you that's not in the script." And I said, "Go ahead, tell me." "Well, I want to say," I said, No, you tell me in the scene." He says, "I'll come here, I'll say goodbye, and then whenever you're ready, you tell me." And I said, "Millie, whenever you feel it's appropriate, come over and give me the coat." Mm-hmm. And that was scripted. The coat thing was scripted. But whenever you're ready, feel it out.
Yeah, she even tried to put it twice to give it to you.
So exactly, she held on to it because we were engaged. So we came in, did that shot, and came in, did 1 take. It was very, and he started talking to me about the watch and not a minute, and I'm going to give you not a minute after 6. That wasn't scripted. That was him. It was scripted earlier, obviously, but he brought it back.
Uh-huh.
And then so we did that. I looked at the take. I said, "That's the scene." And I was looking, and I thought at that moment I said to myself, "I'm not going to cover it. I'm just going to leave it like that." And then Manu says, "No, Andy, with a bit of coverage is good." Yeah? And I said, "Okay." I said, "You want to go freestyle?" He goes, "Yes, of course, freestyle." So I said, "Pick me up, put the camera on your shoulder, pick me up coming in, pull back, and then you're on your own." Awesome. And what you saw was a combination of the master and Manu 1 take. That's it. That was the scene.
Wow. Thanks.
And I saw that what Manu did, following the emotion of what's going on and feeding off of it, and then he caught my little boy, who's my son in the movie. Uh-huh. My daughter plays my daughter. The girl playing the girl in that scene is my real daughter, my oldest daughter, and the little boy is my youngest boy, is my boy. And he caught him leaving. He caught him leaving like that, running like that, and that I was going like, wow. And then because it was like the other generation is the kid that's left behind. He's going to grow up in this world, probably be indoctrinated by that system, and And anyway, so that was it. So that's the manner in which with Manu that I work with him, because again, I had gone through a whole movie with him, so we had a shorthand. And we would say, let's go held here, or let's go long lens, and then we had a quick language, and he says, oh, that's good. And then if I'm acting, to go on to the acting part, if he's shooting me, and or if I'm off camera for another actor, I'm watching the other actor. But if he's shooting me, and I'm having, and I experienced this also in Modigliani, if I felt like we did the scene one time, twice, whatever it was, and then I felt comfortable, and I felt like we had it. If I had the first question, I'd go to Manu, who would operate. He always operated. And I said, Manu, are we good? And he'd go, yeah, it's very powerful. And then I go, okay, let's go.
Thank you.
So you need someone who, you need someone that you trust, that has, that's not just looking at the frame, that has a sensibility about humanity and human nature.
All about relationships.
Exactly. It's all about the behavior in the relationships, Emil. Searching for those moments that have resonance,
Hi, Mr. Garcia. My name is Angela, and I'm studying MFA. So this movie is so beautiful, and I remember there's a line in the movie: "Sad is beautiful, but sadness is not." So
sad is beautiful, but not sadness.
Oh yeah, apologize for my English.
No, it's important because it's written by Mr. Infante. He says, sad can, I said, don't be sad. She says, sad can be beautiful, she says. And he goes, sad, yes, but not sadness.
Yeah.
So, it's been,
Yeah, so when I was watching this movie, I just feel like, because it's so beautiful and I feel so sad, and maybe it's so sad, then I feel so beautiful. So, yeah, I'm still have that feeling in my heart. Just, I don't know. And
I know the feeling.
So I kind of want to ask you,
why am I so sad and you're so beautiful?
When you were making this movie, what kind of feeling do you want to give to the audience? Like, do you have any idea? Or
the same feeling you're having now is fine by me.
Yeah, like from
it's sad. It's sad and it's beautiful. It is. It's sad.
Okay.
No, I say it's about impossible love.
Mm-hmm.
The thing you most cherish in your life, the most beautiful thing, the thing you most cherish in your life.
Yeah, but
you can't be with her or with it or with him or with whatever it is. You cannot.
Yeah, but when you are making this movie, how did you handle like this kind of feeling when you making that?
I still can't handle it. It's who I am. It's my state of mind perpetually. That's what I am. I'm an exile.
Okay. And another question is, like you said, you shot this.
I mean, I don't walk around sad. It's not like my life is over or anything. But that is a part of my life. That's who I am. That's why I made the movie, and that's still who I am today.
And that's beautiful.
I wasn't crying outside the theater, but obviously that's part of who I am on a daily basis. It's never going to go away.
That's good.
It's never going to go away. I mean, the country that I feel that way is still under a 52-year dictatorship. So
yeah.
why would my feelings change?
That's so good.
Yeah.
And I have another question. So you said you made this movie in 35 days.
Mm-hmm.
How did you do the scheduling? It's
quickly.
Crazy.
I had a great producer, Frank Mancuso Jr., and a lot of help by everybody who worked on the movie, from the designers to production designer to my pal Joe Drago, to the actors who kept up with me and showed up for nothing, and everyone was there busting their ass, and Manu is a great artist who could shoot very quickly, and we worked a lot with natural available light, which is what I like to work with as much as possible, and you go. There ain't no time to futz around. You better know, you got to know what you're trying to achieve, and make your day. We got it. 1 take, 2 takes, got it. Let's go. No indulgences, The dance sequences, 2 takes, we're out of here. We had to shoot the whole thing in over a weekend of 2 days in the club, So you just got to do it. You got to know what your pieces you need. You got to go in and get them, and you have hopefully a cinematographer that can achieve that in that time period, because the cinematographer, no matter how brilliant if he's on the slow side, or if he wants to tweak too much, or if the light, it can get bogged down, and you won't get the stuff shot. And that's a tremendous. So you can't do it alone. You can want to move fast, but people ain't moving fast with you. It won't happen, you know. And so hopefully I answered the question. You know, it was a communal effort to get it done. You know, and they worked very, very hard, long hours, 6-day weeks, and you know, and people were very committed to telling the story. A lot of the people involved in the movie, from my production designer to Manu to especially the production designer Valdemar Kalinowski, had been with me for 16 years. The actors, William Marquez, who played the choreographer, and I had this idea that he would dance with this lamp. It wasn't in the original script, but I had this idea that I would, like Fred Astaire, that I would give him a lamp, turn off all the lights in the club and give him a lamp, dress him in white and give him a lamp to dance with. And I told him that. I put it in the script. I said, I'm going to give you, and here's the song, Willie. And it was the song that I had recorded with CHIHUAHUA, pre-recorded in one of our albums that we did, a Wahida, a very slow tempo Wahida. And we finally got to the point where Willie had been waiting to do that for 16 years. Yeah, but he didn't have the actual prop until like 10 minutes before the scene, because they were building the prop. Everything was moving so fast. The prop came on the day we were going to shoot. Willie got the prop, and it was too light on the bottom, and it would tip over. And it had a cord where the light. And Willie says, "I can't dance with a cord." And he said, and Valdemar, our production designer, came on set and he said, "This doesn't work. We got to get rid of the cord." And he says, "Give me how long we got?" And he said, "Oh, you had like an hour before shooting." And Willie was playing with the prop. He had never rehearsed with the thing. And he's a great dancer, but he had never rehearsed with it. And he said, so Valdemar, he says, "Give me a second." He left. He bought 2 batteries, car batteries, and secured them to the base of it, put an apron around it so you wouldn't see them, and connected the light to it. Now the thing had a weight to it where he could move it and it wouldn't tip. And Willie said, "Okay, I got it." And it had a handle, which we had designed that way because I had drawn it on a piece of paper. So he put a thing with a handle so he can grab it and move it around in some good wheels. And so we got it working, and Willie was kind of, I saw him on the side of the stage kind of moving it around, feeling it. And I went up to him and I said, "Willie," he said, "I'm going to put a 10-minute mag on the film, on the camera, 2 sizes." I said, "The song is 10 minutes long." It was a Wahida that we recorded. It was actually 10 minutes long. He goes, "I have a full mag on the camera." And I said, You've been waiting to do this for 16 years. I said, "You got 10 minutes. It's all yours. We're running we got a camera on you." I think it was one size, just following him around. I said, "You have the whole stage. Go wherever you want to go." And he had the stage plus this kind of thing that he comes up and back. And if you ever see the movie on the DVD, if you buy it, in the special features, the whole dance is in there. It's intercut here with me watching it with Bill, but in the special features you see the whole dance, the whole take, raw take. And sometimes when the thing falls, he picks it up, he keeps going. But I said, you've been waiting for this. This is your moment. Enjoy yourself. And we put a full mag in there, and he danced it. We said, "Cut. Thank you very much." Everybody clapped. So that's why we did it. It was a chance to play. We were there to play. We were blessed to have film and the camera and costumes to wear.
And the music is a huge part in your movie.
Mm-hmm.
So when
it's really the protagonist in the film.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Almost its own character.
Yeah. The movie was designed around and for the music. Yeah. Because that's the world that's never betrays Fico, is his music, and that's what he finds in exile, and how he's able to rebuild his life and his dream and everything. The metaphor is that the exile brings his culture with him, and wherever he is, even though he might have gone to Finland from Cuba, he still brings Cuba with him, or Iran or Egypt, wherever you're from. You bring your culture with you, and the culture survives within the community that gather there, or within your own household, or within your own heart. But the culture survives, and you surround yourself with the things that you remember in your culture, and it permeates who you are. So for Fico, it's his music, and that's in as you saw in the end of the movie, he finally rediscovers the music by the same Pied Piper that was at the beginning of the movie, who leads him to the club. He walks into his own projection, and if you remember, there was a moment where he projects. He has old movies that he took of Aurora, and then magically Chocolate, the gentleman who was the trumpet player, appears, and then Fico actually walks into the projection. And now he's propelled into this magical world where he says, I found my music, and then he opens the club. He finally found, he's home again.
Wow, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And by the way, when you're serious, you look very charming, and when you're smiling, you're very adorable.
Oh. I thought you were going to say very scary. Hey, sad and beautiful, exactly. Yeah, and with this beard, a little mangy.
Hello, a question from me. Mr. Garcia, Andy. My name is Alexia. I'm a singer I was born in Cyprus, which has been under Turkish occupation. 35% of the island for 30 years. So I am displaced. We were forced to flee from our hometown and move to another town of Cyprus. So Cyprus, Cuba, and then of course I found that I could express myself in an unhindered manner in New York, in America. This is why I'm back now. So I would like to congratulate you for the inspiration. I found the aesthetics of your film magnificent, utterly poetic, inspiring, reminded me again and assured me that yes, being a singer, being a musician, is the right thing to do, because music, the music, please tell us about the music. Did you perform any of this? By the way, I saw you at the Hollywood Bowl last Saturday night, and you were great playing the percussion. But did you play any piano? Did you compose any of the music? I didn't know.
Yeah, I composed all the original music of the film, and wow,
congratulations.
Thank you. There's three elements to the music. There's music from the era, from the 1950s and beyond, 40s and 30s of Cuba, actual recordings that I used in the movie. So that's one element of the design. Benny Moré and Trio Matamoros and stuff like that. Maria Teresa Vera and Los Muñequitos de Matanzas, a traditional rumba group. Then there is pre-records that I had done as I was making these albums with Maestro Cachao, a Cuban bass player who's now passed away. I was recording songs that I knew I was going to use in the movie, like Cuba Linda, the last song that we did. It's a song I produced with him. It's the title track from one of our albums. The song that Willie danced is from an album. The sequence where my brother gets killed, his neck broken with the sheets. There's an up-tempo mambo there. That's from one of our albums called Gozar con mi combo. So there's a series, and there's a soundtrack you can actually buy.
We will for sure.
Of the Lost City. It's a two CD set. If it's still hopefully not out of print. You can get it on Amazon, I think. So that's one element. And then there was the score, which was, some of it is just only like piano. And
improvisation by you?
What was that?
I'm sorry. Did you play the piano?
I played the piano.
Improvised?
I played it
possibly.
I played it to picture.
Okay.
First I played it in the editing room, and then I re-recorded it in a studio. I designed it in the editing room. Some of the pieces that I would play in the editing room, they were just for timing and melody, and then I worked with an orchestrator like I say, if I wanted it as a chamber orchestra, then we orchestrated the melody. But it was already designed, where the hits were in the scene and where they crescendoed and so forth. Some of it was just solo piano in the movie. Sometimes it was piano and bass flute. Yeah. Like in the scene with Dustin Hoffman at the end, it's one of the themes of the character called Solitude that it plays several times in the movie. And in that case, it was just piano and flute. Sometimes it was all percussion, so that was also designed for the movie. The Rumbas and the Attack on the Palace and all that, those were all pre-records that I did specifically for the movie. With the gentleman who sang in that sequence actually was the guy. So it wasn't he was singing, he was singing live in on stage.
On the last scene, or
the guy who went in the attack on the
Oh,
palace when there was
okay,
a gentleman
yeah.
singing
Yes.
the religious folkloric tune. He was singing that live on the stage. The intro, he sings. That's live. He's the actual artist who sang, and I recorded a lot with him. He's a master.
So you have then record your own albums, which I wasn't aware of, and I will discover. I promise.
Well, I don't have my own albums as an artist. I have my own albums as a producer, because I produced this gentleman by the name of Cachao, who's an 80. No, he's passed away recently, but he died at 87. He was the father of the mambo, bass player, composer, and I worked a lot with him. Did documentaries on his life, and did his last 4 albums, and we won Grammys together and stuff like that. So you can if you track down Cachao, then the last 4 albums. One is called the first 2 were called Master Sessions, Volume 1 and 2. There was one called Cuba Linda, and the last one was called Ahora Sí. And Ahora Sí actually has a documentary of the making of the album inside of it, an hour-long documentary.
Thank you for the information. And I wrote it in my latest album called Ribi. I wrote a song called Raíces Volantes, which is about, my experience with displacement. I'm having to leave the family in order to express myself freely in another country. So I dedicate it to you, and I will send it to you. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, Mr. Garcia. My name is Reyhan Nurgalieva, and I'm BFA in filmmaking, but also I'm very interested in acting. But before asking you some questions, I would like thank you for the opportunity giving us to have conversation with you.
You're welcome.
My question is, how do you reveal the character who you're going to play, how you develop this character? It's, for example, when you're acting in this movie, you are directing yourself, but also you are acting. How you reveal this personality, the character who you're going to play? This is my question. I know that there are a lot of methods to reveal, to approach, but I would like to know your own opinion, your own method about this skill.
To me, an essential element is the personalization of the character and trying to find the parallels in your own emotional history, your own life, with things that correlate with the character that you're exploring. So you can open up doors that you might not be so eager to open, but doors that might be similar in joys and pains and all aspects of the personality of the character that might coincide with similar experiences or similar feelings in your own life. So that's an essential step for me. And sometimes those solutions only come in the moment when you're actually performing it. You're not even aware that you once you start thinking about it, your subconscious begins to be activated. And sometimes until you get into the closer to it, it won't really reveal itself to you. Sometimes it could be very elusive and never reveal itself to you. So that's an essential thing, the personalization of it, And then there's elements of design, like what's the guy, what's he wear, what's he look like, how's he walk, how's he talk, does he have an accent, does he not have an accent, does he have long hair, short hair, is he what? Those are kind of aesthetics things, but on an emotional side, more of a deep on the inside kind of thing. The personalization is important to me.
Thank you very much. And as a second question, would you prefer to work for revealing the character? Would you prefer to work with the director, or to have your own private space to work with yourself, with the inner world?
Yeah.
This is my
It's rare to find a director, at least that I've experienced in film, that really has the language to speak with an actor. The training that comes with that is very specific, and the sensibility and sensitivity of that is very specific, and you have to take the time to learn it. You have to, as a director, you have to take acting classes. You have to work with actors. You got to, do as much scene work as possible. Take, acting for the theater. You have to really understand the language of the actor, so you don't so you know how to talk to them and try how to get in, help them through the process if they need help. Most of the time, there's been very few times that you find directors that can actually have that language in film. In theater, probably differently, because they've really concentrated on that that technique, you know. Whereas in film, sometimes people come to it from a visual point of view and stuff like that, and they'll go, you know, he's really angry in this scene, right? You got to be angry, and you go. You know, so they don't know. But you're gonna cry, right? You're gonna cry in the scene. I don't know. So, and I said, I don't know. I'm gonna cry in the scene. I haven't even done the scene yet. Well, what I know, what's gonna happen if I haven't walked in the room yet? I know why I'm here, and I know what I need. I don't know what's gonna happen. I know what I feel about being here, and when the scene starts to develop, we'll see what happens. And they go, oh. But it says in the script, and I said I crossed all those things out already. So it's really, I'm trying to use that as it's funny, but it's really, it bears down to this kind of like, you know, an understanding how the process works. And that's why I said if you have really good actors, if you can cast really good actors, there's very little you need to do.
Yes.
As a director, you want to give the space for them to explore, and then you can conspire. If you know, sometimes if you come in, you give them the wrong thing, you'll just put a barricade in your actor. He'll walk away and they'll go. You know, I've had work with actors, and the director will come and talk to them. We'll be in the scene, and then we're doing the scene, and he'll come talk to him, not to me, let's say, and he'll tell him something, and the director will walk away, and the actor will go. Because what he told them was like, you know, what this guy, you know, because it made no sense, and it's like or it's like result. What we like to consider thing like a result-oriented direction. You know, like, you know, when he does this, what I want you to do is, and then at that point, and you're going, you know, when he does what? He hasn't even done it. I mean, what are you talking about? So it's hard to explain that whole thing if you haven't dedicated time to learning about it. But basically, you gotta cast great actors and then give them the space to play. If they feel uncomfortable, if they don't feel like there's a sense of truth in what's going on, they're gonna let you know, and you should listen to them because they don't feel right. And then if you say that's all great, but I wonder if you guys can help me out. If you play the scene like that, the scene's working great, but I don't know what's going on because I need you just to, instead of doing it there, can you just find a way organically to move 7 steps forward so I can get you at least in some light where I can see you? Then you can get technical that way, but give them they'll go, yeah, I can do that, and they'll find a way organically. But it's it's tricky because, you know, the concept of directing a film, people come in with these preconceived visions. You know, the director will come in with like, I got it all figured out. And, you know, that's fine and dandy if you happen to be Francis Ford Coppola, you know, and he doesn't even have it all figured out, and he's Francis Ford Coppola. When he does a scene, he's exploring the scene with the actors. He'll say, okay, let's do a free take, actors free take. Say whatever you want. Forget the dialogue. Say whatever you want. Sing, dance, I don't care. Just we'll film it, okay? It's for actors free take. And he really wants you to do whatever you want. You could just recite a Shakespearean monologue, and he'll film it. He doesn't care. Because what he's trying to do is to get you out of any kind of pattern that you're falling into. And then he'll say, editor's free take. To play the whole scene without any dialogue. Go through all the beats of the scene, no dialogue. Look at her, walk away, come back, look at her, touch her, kiss her, whatever you want to do, no dialogue. And then he's saying that way the editor can come in and get in wherever he wants without the encumberment of any dialogue.
Brilliant.
So Francis has that because he comes from the theater and he has a sensitivity about it. But I might count, you know, in I don't know how many movies I've been blessed to do. But let's say there's 50. Maybe there's 5 guys in the 50 that have that sensibility. And the other doesn't mean the other ones I didn't like or I didn't have a good time or don't. But there might be 5 guys that really had that language. The other ones were going, let you do your stuff, or they'll have a way of communicating that you say, oh, I understand what he's saying, you know. But the that real sensitivity it's you have to have gone through the study of it, and being sensitive about it, where you can get an actor and talk around the situation, or say to him, what are you feeling? What are you thinking? What do you feel blocked? Yeah. Why? Well, how do you feel about this guy? You know, you're not telling him what to do. You're trying to awaken him, give him something that you see it in his eyes. When it happens, he goes, okay, you ready? And you go, and the guy will go, he says, okay, let's go. You're just trying to open the door. You don't have to tell him how to do it, you know, but, you know, unless there's someone that really needs help and really you say, can you tell me how to do it? And then, you know, that's a different kind of, an actor that might be like really in panic mode or something like that. But if you have a good actor and he's blocked, you need to work with him on you know, work around the situation. Give him the stimulus to go, when you see where his eyes go, and you'll see it happen, and you go, you ready, right? And he goes, okay, all right away, please. And you shoot, you know. You know, and so other people, they come ready to go. I mean, with Inez Sastre, I don't know, tell her anything. She would say, you never give me direction. And I said, I don't have to give you direction. You know exactly how you feel about this, you know. We talked about it. And if I feel you're in trouble, I'll come save you. But you're beautiful and you know exactly how you feel. I only auditioned one actress for that part, which was Inez. I saw her in a magazine. She was a model for Lancome. I said, that's the girl. I did talk to some other actresses that were very well known to try to cast a name in that part. They turned me down. So I said, that's it. There's no other actor out there that feels right for it. So I'm going to try to find a girl. I had this picture of Inez in my script for a long time, and I said, I researched her. I found out she also acted. She was trained in London, spoke English perfectly. I looked up her agent. He happened to be a friend of mine from Spain. I said, Inez is acting. He goes, yes. She hears her English. She says, perfect. She lives in London. She was educated in London. She speaks perfect English. And I said, send her the script. I'd like to talk to her. She come back. She said she'd love to do it. So she said, okay, send her to Los Angeles when she's ready, and I'll sit down with her. She came in. She had the script all broken down, lines, types, clips. It looked like, you know, like it had gone through the Second World War. And she was like, you know, yeah, everything. And so we talked for a long time. And then I said, do you mind if we do an exercise? And I said, you want me to read? And I said, no, I don't want you to read. I said, I just want to do an exercise with you. She said, okay. And I said, okay, sit here. And I put the camera, I had a little, camcorder there in my office. I put her up against the light of a window. And I said, I'm going to tape this because I just like to have it for myself and also for a record because, I'd like to record what you're going to do. She said, okay. And I said, I'm going to put on a piece of music. Didn't tell her what it was. Which is one of the main themes of the film. And I just want you to listen to it. But I don't want you to listen to it as Aurora, because you already know who Aurora is. I can see you already know who she is. So that'll be there. But more importantly, I want you to listen to it as Inez. And I want you to process it and what this song means to Inez, not to Aurora, because you are Aurora. So I'm not interested in Aurora anymore. I'm interested in Inez. Aurora has a dialogue, and that'll drive you through the story, and it'll take you through the story because there's dialogue and the arc is already there. Now I'm interested in Inez. Listen, so just react to it. I said, you have no obligations to react or do anything. Just listen to it, and whatever it makes you feel, that's fine. But there's no obligation to feel. Just to listen to it as Inez. I put on the song, and it started, and it's the song that she listens to. It's a song the guy plays on the piano, Bola de Nieve, and it's a song she listens to before as I'm leaving Cuba. She's listening to it by the phonograph, where she's crying like that. And the song is called Si Me Pudieras Querer, and the translation to the lyrics is, if you could only love me the way I love you. That's the essence of what the song is about. And it's a classic song that was in the 50s in Cuba with that particular artist. So I put it on, and the moment that the guy sang the first words, which he said, "Si me pudieras querer como te estoy queriendo a ti," she was looking like that, and she started to tears started streaming down her face. Through the entire song, she could not stop crying, but if she was crying like that, just like in the movie, exactly like the movie, just like this kind of like frozen, like nothing, and just never like that. And then she finally reached into her purse and she took out a thing and she, wiped her nose because she was just gone, and I was like torture, and I go, and the song finished, I turned it on, I gave her a kiss, and I said, "You got the part." That was it. The only audition I've had, one person. And I had stacks of people wanting to audition for the movie, because once we said we're auditioning people, there was all these people, and I said, "No, the girl." So she was ready to play it. It was her part to play, And I was lucky I found her, and that was just it. She had all that turmoil in her. She had all that pain. She identified with the lost love and all that, and it was part of her who she was. And she was an extraordinarily committed lady and actress, and the hardest working person on the set. And we had to shoot up the tower. She climbed up this tower that was 4 stories high, and we were up sitting there with all the pigeons. Well, the tower, to get up there, you had to climb up an old rusty ladder for 4 floors. And she went. Luckily, she went first. I said, "Don't worry, that way I can catch you." But that whole ladder was full of pigeon shit all the way up, full of pigeon shit. And she said, "Don't worry about it. Let's go." Climbed to the top, and we got that shot of us up there in the tower. She was a champ, but she had it. She had that. She was broken, and she gave it all. She did a beautiful job with the film.
Thank you very much, Mr. Garcia. Thank you.
And speaking of ladders, actually, Kevin Spacey came to come visit us as well.
Oh, yeah.
And Kevin had talked a little bit about Jack Lemmon, working with Jack Lemmon.
Right.
And Jack Lemmon had given him some advice early in his career and said, when you spend your whole life climbing that ladder of success, when you make it to the top, spend the rest of your career sending that ladder back down. And you have just done that here today.
Oh, thank you.
I want to thank you so much for your time, as do the students as well.
Thank you.